Hello there. Welcome to Palworld. We are going to be playing a little bit, enjoying this game that kind of came out of nowhere. It is a creature collector, open world game, kind of like we all wish the old Pokemon games would be like. And we're gonna kind of enjoy this one and try and have some fun. Now, in open world games like this, it's kind of difficult to kind of set a goal for yourself, or rather have an end goal, in the sense that, well, these games are kind of what you make out of them. So with this series, I'm thinking that we're going to set a few kind of main goals from the start. We are going to try and capture, or at least see and capture, if we can, every single kind of Palmon there is. We have the Paldeck here, and there are 111 potential specimens currently, I believe, in the game. So we do, of course, want to try and capture every single one of those available to us. Second goal, try and build an actual functional and efficient base that can actually develop, or rather, manufacture things nicely. We have a guest here. And thirdly, we want to mess a little bit around with the breeding. Those are going to be the three main goals for now. They might change. We might do things a little bit differently. That's going to be what we are trying to do. Castaway, been a while since someone who didn't sing of pals washed up here. Islands of living hell. People I came with aren't with us any longer. The pals ate them. Be careful. Have some basic supplies. A little bit of wood, but yeah, that is the idea. We're just getting started, which means we're going to be running the tutorial here. It tells us to check the survival guild, to build a primitive workbench, and to open the technology screen and make a Palsphere. So we're going to do all that, but actually, at the start of the game, you spawn in actually a really good location, honestly. It's a very pretty location right next to us where we are probably going to set up our first base. We might move it later on. You get fully refunded for anything you build and dismantle in this game, so if you think a location is bad or you want to move, you're very much free to do so. And immediately here we found a locked chest that needs a copper key. These things usually have good stuff, as well as some lore, which is basically how I view those things. But yeah, we're going to be starting off by doing some tutorial moves here, setting up a basic camp, if you will. And then we're going to, hopefully throughout this first episode, do a little bit of power leveling. You can actually level incredibly fast there in this game, and I'll be showing you how. But yeah, we'll be doing a little bit of power leveling, we'll be doing a little bit of exploration, and generally we'll be looking to have quite a good time. So let's just capture a little bit more, or rather collect a little bit more stone and wood, as we'll be needing this on the way. It's always nice to have. And that should be it. We also found some wool, as you can see. Now, what we really are actually looking for is this blue shiny stuff over here. This thing. It's called Paldium. You can get that from these blue nodes. Paldium is used to make the Palspheres, which is going to be an integral part of our game. So we definitely do want to keep that in mind. For starters though, we'll have a look at things here. Survival guide. Very simple. Tips and tricks, controls, things like that. Basically very good to have a look at once you actually, just got started. Technology. Works kind of like Arcade. You have unlocks, the PAL box, which is basically the core of your base. Decides how, well, basically the center of your base, your most important part. Kind of the same, you kind of get the idea if you played Rust. Palsphere for capturing, campfire for warmth, and also, of course, to make food on. Wooden structure set allows you to build wooden structures. We have storage. We also gonna want to get the old bow, some arrows, a shoddy bed, and straw pole bed, as well as cloth. Now, what these things do is pretty straightforward. This is a bed for your pals. You can actually put them to work in your base. We'll get into that. This is a bed for you where you can skip nights. And I would think days, but I haven't actually tested it out. But we're going through these already. Cloth. The wool we found can be woven into cloth for a little bit extra gains. But yeah, we'll be placing our first base down here. And the reason why we're placing it here is actually incredibly simple. There are raids in this game, which means that your base location does actually matter. You don't only want a flat area, but you want a flat area with limited entrances. A flat area that is somewhat easy to defend. And that is kind of what we found here. I think we want to move the box a little bit forward. As you can see that this blue little outline that we were seeing in the water here, you can see right there, kind of signifies the borders of your base. And we want to make sure that we get as much of this kind of plateau that we're on as possible. And currently, seems like we're doing a very good job of that. But we can move it a little bit forward and a little bit to the left, because we're not going to be using any of the cliff behind us. So we're just going to move it very slightly, like so. I think that should do the job, and then we'll get it built. So as I said, there are raids in this game, so your base location does matter, because the AI uses a very basic pathing. They will not climb wall, they will not climb cliffs, they will not jump down cliffs. Basically, if we get raided, they're not going to jump down from the cliff behind us. They're going to walk all the way around onto this kind of entranceway, and same over here. Although the water is shallow, so they might decide to jump in the water, for the most part, they're going to follow this path over here, meaning that the location here is pretty nice due to the fact that it only has, in theory, 2 entrances that we need to defend. So that makes our life a lot easier. Also, it's a pretty nice area. Let's be honest, it looks good. Next up, we're going to build some of the things that we need. For starters, we're going to need a primitive workbench, which is going to allow us to make tools and weapons, and generally just what we need here in the primitive stage. And we're also going to go ahead and craft a couple of Palspheres, because we kind of have to. Again, we use these to capture pals, so they are actually very, very useful to have. Second up, we are going to go ahead and make a wooden chest, because we do need storage. But before that, I think what we're going to go ahead and do is make ourselves a couple of tools. A stone pickaxe and a stone axe, which shouldn't be, should be self-explanatory. Chop wood, mine rocks for resources, pretty straightforward. And with that, I think we've used most of what we have available to us. We can make a campfire, which honestly, we might as well just do. It's going to be nice to have. But actually, we could just wait with building that, because we don't actually need to build most of these things ourselves. We can actually allow pals to do it for us. So with the 2 boxes that we have right now, we're going to go ahead and find a pal to capture. And I would recommend doing either lamb balls or cativas to start off with, as they have multi-purpose uses. So the way you do this, very simple. Abuse a pal a bit, capture him, and we do the same here with this other lamb ball. The lower we bring him, the higher the chances. 100% is very, very good. And as you can see, we actually get a load of experience from capturing these pals. So keep that in mind. You can capture a total of 10 pals that will give you experience boosts. And that is going to be kind of important for what we are kind of planning to do here. Now, if you want to assign a pal to worker base, you just move him from either your party or your box into, well, your base. He's now put to work. He does have a major injury though, so he's working a little bit slow. But as you can imagine, this guy's going to help us build things, he's going to help us manufacture things, and generally just be rather helpful. So that is what we're going to do here. Our job right now is to open up our inventory to consume some food. We can just eat the meat raw. There's no need to cook it in this game. Although cooking it will give you more nutrition and some other boosts in some cases. We want to capture 5 lamb balls, increase our player level by capturing 30 pals, and also strengthen our stats. Initially here, we're going to focus a little bit on weight, because weight is going to be probably the most important stat alongside stamina, in my honest opinion. So we'll be focusing on those 2 stats a little bit. But what we're going to be doing now is farming a little bit of palladium, or paldium. We are going to be farming a bit of wood and stone. And we're actually just going to be making some Palspheres, because we're going to need them for one, but also because it's going to make our life easier in the long run. Now, if you find these green things, they're actually very, very important to pick up. They're called a Lift Monk Effigy, and the way that they work is that they will actually allow you to get better at capturing pals. Basically, you offer these to a statue. That statue gives you a little bit of boost in your pal capturing ability. The first level is just 1, the second level is 4, but they get more and more expensive, and it maxes out at 10 levels. So if you find them, pick them up. But honestly, until you get a flying mount, there's no need to really go out of your way. A flying mount is going to make it a lot easier to get it done though. So you do have that kind of available to you. But yeah, as I said, for the time being, we're just going to farm some base materials. We're kind of going to have to. And we're probably also going to end up building a repair bench, which is pretty straightforward. Just a bench that allows us to repair materials. But for now, Paldeck fragments, stone, and also a little bit of wood and fiber is what we're going to want to get, because we're going to want to do 2 things now. We're going to want to build the bow. It's going to make things a little bit easier in terms of capturing pals. Excuse me, as we can fight from range. And it's just generally going to make things a little bit simpler to kind of deal with here. You can see that we have a lot of pals already very, very close to us. And they all do have different abilities, different skill sets, so we're going to be capturing a bunch of them, as well as trying to get a good pal over there at bed. So that's going to be the initial goal. Get him a bed, farm some materials, get a chest up and running. With a chest, they can actually help you collect, well, loose things on the ground. But for the time being, as I said, I'll collect about 100 wood, 100 stone, and then we'll work from there. So here we are. We've done a little bit of farming. Our boy has done a little bit of crafting. As you can see, we got more wood than we did stone, but that's fine. We built 3 beds here for future proofing. We built the repair bench, and we also got some cloth made, which is what we're actually going to need to make clothing. But yeah, we got some storage going. We have a few resources. Boy here is a little bit confused about how we pick up a stone. Let's help him. But yeah, our next goal here is going to be probably honestly to just make some of these Palspheres, and then we're going to go on a bit of an expedition. We can make 30 currently, but honestly what we are going to do too at the same time is upgrade our base. So the way that the system works in this game with bases is that you can actually upgrade them. You start at level 1, but by upgrading your base level, you'll be able to have more pals working. And over time, you'll also be able to have several bases, meaning that we can have one base that is specialized around mining, or we can have bases that specialize around getting coal. You get the idea. You can make bases for specific purposes. So we've got the wooden chest, we've got a pal to work. Let's go ahead and upgrade. Next one is to build a primitive workbench and a shoddy bed. We do have the bed unlocked, but it requires indoors, foundation, and a roof. And we can actually cheese that by just doing this. Foundation, then we add a wall, and then we add a roof. And this alone actually counts as being indoors, as you can see. And the Lambo here will build it for us because he's such a good boy. But yeah, that counts as being indoors, which will help upgrade. But what we want to get right now is going to be this cloth outfit and also the feed box. The feed box allows pals to feed themselves. I think we also want to go ahead and pick up the stone sphere. It would be nice to get a common shield, but it does cost a lot of pallium fragments, which are a little bit painful to combat right now. So the first thing that we're going to do is just make this cloth outfit. It's going to help us protect us against the cold. And generally, it's just going to protect us against the cold at night. At night here, it becomes cold enough that unless you're inside, like with the bed that we just made, you are most likely going to end up freezing to death unless you're near a fire. But with the cloth here, the cloth armor or cloth outfit, you will be fine. So that's going to make surviving a little bit easier. Next up, it actually wants us to build the feed box, and as I said, it is for automatically feeding pals. So we kind of want to have it in an easily accessible location. We'll just place it here for now. You do get all resources back when you do build something. So don't be afraid to place something and then immediately deconstruct it. That is absolutely okay. Now, as a weapon right now, we're still going to just use the stone spear. It's not going to do much when we're fighting flying pals. But at the moment, we're currently going to be mostly focusing on the ground-based ones. And the stone spear, I don't know why I'm calling it a spear, it's going to do the job well when it comes to just that. So no real reason to worry. Currently, we can build a flare tentation and deploy 4 pals to work. We have a bed too little for that, so let's go ahead and place another one. And like so. And we actually have enough fiber here that I think we're just going to go ahead and do a little bit of future proofing, because we're about to, as I say, go on a bit of an expedition. And we'll just chuck this extra Lambo in here as well, because they aren't that powerful. Now, I did say that we were going to try and do some power leveling, and the way that we do that is actually with these Palspheres. We're just going to go ahead and make 26 for now. That should be good enough for what we want to try and do, which is actually to head out into the wilds and capture a pal called Vixy. Now, Vixy looks a bit like a little fox, and the reason why we want to catch Vixy is that if we put her in a building called a ranch, which we are going to be unlocking with the next level, basically once we capture her, we're going to be unlocking this ranch, we can put her in that for work, and as she does work there, she will actually end up producing Palspheres, meaning that we get them for free. They are a bit of a chore to grind for, so us getting 2, 3, 4 Vixies to kind of give us an infinite supply, particularly early game for leveling purposes, would be amazing. So with that in mind, for now, we're just going to go ahead and create these Palspheres. We are most likely, well, we actually level up right there. As you can see, the pal here is helping out. We're probably also going to go ahead and catch some of those Cativas over there, because they have a bit of an interesting passive, in the sense that if you put them in your party, they increase your carry capacity by 50. Basically the same as having a level up in carrying capacity. So I'd like to capture a few of those to have in my party. They're also very, very good all-purpose workers. So there's no real negatives to capturing them and having them in your party. Currently we're lacking wood and stone to build these things. But honestly, we'll be picking up a bunch of wood and stone while running around, so I'm not worried. Parachute, not really a big deal. It's not something I would, prioritize right now. You need stamina to fly them anyways. Firebow requires flame organs, so they're kind of, again, hard to come by. The stone sphere is gonna spear. It's gonna do the job just fine, particularly as I said early game here. But for now, we are gonna go ahead and try and catch a Cativa. They are a little bit troublesome to catch because they have all. They will. That's one too many. They'll always try and run away from you. If you can look at this guy, well, he didn't actually spot me. Yeah, generally, if they see you, they will run away, and that makes them a bit of a pain to deal with. But we want to try and capture a couple, and as you can see here, we got red berries from the one that we knocked out, and we got red berries from this one as well. So, if you capture or knock out a pal, you will get some sort of resource. In this case, red berries from this guy, but you will get them even if you, well, even if you capture them. Sorry, even if you knock them out, capture them, you'll still get the resource. So there's no need to worry about losing out. And with that, as I said, we're going to be heading out. We're going to go on a little bit of an adventure here to look for, as I said, Vixy. And we're probably going to run into some new pals along the way. Maybe even some fairly interesting ones. So yeah, should be a good little journey. Premise looks kind of like the thing we're looking for, but it's not. Gumos, this guy's kind of interesting. Looks like a bit like a plant. And honestly, could be beneficial for us right now, but not really. So as I said, I just want to, while we're doing this, collect resources, stone, wood, berries, get the idea. And also, if we can, capture Cativas to fill the party with. Because they do have a pretty good benefit. And we don't want to piss off that big guy over there. That is actually a bit of a mini-boss. He's called Mamorest. And, well, if we did attack him right now, we'd just tickle him. He'd probably just knock us down immediately. Foxbox over here is actually incredibly useful. So if we can, we're actually going to go ahead and try and capture one. Which I think we'll be able to, because we can kind of gank him at the moment. And again, we're just bringing him low. Try and capture him. He can be kind of a pain to deal with, because he can inflict fire on you. And if he's in a pack, the pack will also attack you. So be a little bit careful. But as his fire would suggest, you can use him to melt ore. And not only that, but you can also use him to cook food. So he'll do those kinds of job in your base, which makes him very, very nice to have. Now, as you can see, we are actually getting a bunch of experience from capturing these guys for the first time, but you actually get experience for catching them up to 10 times each. So you want to capture 10 of each and every one of these guys. Currently, we are kind of limited on the balls that we have available to us. We also got a Megasphere there, which is the second tier of capture ball. We're kind of limited. So I'm currently capturing things that we're going to need in the future. And you are actually going to need pangolins. You don't really need to capture them, but it is nice to get that extra experience. What we're looking from these little penguins is actually their ability, or rather their pal fluid, which sounds horrible. But basically we're going to need that in the future, at least 10 of them. So we kind of want to take them down for that reason alone. And as you can see, night has arrived. These guys are sleeping. There's also an egg over here. I would really recommend you picking up these eggs when you find them, because you can kind of freely hatch them. But to do that, we're going to need a little bit of ancient tech, which you get from beating bosses, and also dungeons. So it's going to also be one of those things we'll deal with a little bit in the future. But there are some low-level bosses that should make that a little bit easier for us. But yeah, again, we are basically just going on a little bit of adventure on our own. Bottom left, you can see that we are very close to being cold here. But thanks to the armor, the cloth armor, we're not actually into the cold itself. And unless we run into an extremely cold area, we should be fine. Now, the owl here, Hukratus, and the guy over there called Depresso, are both monsters that only show up at night. Now, Depresso, we want to be stay a little bit clear of, because while he can be somewhat useful, he is, as his name suggests, not very happy. And him being not very happy is kind of a problem, but at the same time, not one that we can really deal with. He will attack you on sight. keep your distance. But this guy is someone that we actually do want to fight. He's called an Eikthin there, I think. Basically a combination of elk and there. And not only is he one of the better early game mounts, ground mounts that is, but he also is probably your best early game wood collector. So we do want to get at least 2 of these, most likely for passive wood collection. So Kativa, I choose you. We're gonna try and gank this guy while he's sleeping. As you can see, he has quite the health bar up there. So yeah, he does a lot of pain. I hope Kativa can actually, you know, piss him off a little bit. And that charge that he just did is something that he can actually use to great effect. And we are actually quite agile, and you can actually dodge by pulling your animal in. And the Perso is actually into the fight right now, which is not great, but he got immediately knocked out by the elk. So let's see if we can cap it before it kills us. We are gonna have to do a little bit of dodging here. Kitty tried something. But yeah, capture rate ain't great. But again, early game mount can be really, really good. And we did pick him up. But do be aware that he is quite a tough customer. And that can make him kind of dangerous. Depresso, what did you drop? Nothing? That's unfortunate. But yeah, the egg tier deer. It's a very, very good thing. And a very good, nice early pickup. Now, Depresso will not usually be out during the day. So if you find that navigating the land with him around to be a bit of a dangerous task, you can of course just delay this expedition until daytime or just sleep in the bed. But in our case, we don't really care too much, and we think we're going to be fine anyways. So we're going in a bit of an aggressive expedition here in the search of, well, as I said, Vixy. But as you can see, there's a bunch of sleeping pals here, and that guy up there is kind of scary too. He's actually a really good early game digger. He's called a Tombat, but he's probably a little bit more than what we can handle right now, so we are not going to mess with him. So let's just leave him be. The Vox here, kind of the same as some of the early game. Well, as a penguin, very nice to have early on for the Palspheres. But currently, we're kind of looking for something else. We're looking for the Vixy. So we're gonna leave them be for now. Let's see. I think it should be just about, well, around here somewhere. We might be able to find one. That's a Nox. That's a cat. Also a night thing. Let's see if we can find Vixy. Might also be that we have to wait until daytime to get the reliable spawn. Relaxosaurus there. Let's not mess with him. He's going to be incredibly useful later on. But right now, he's probably going to just lead us for fun. So, don't really want to touch him. It's going to be a very important source of high quality PAL oil, I think it's called. Which you need to make guns. So, as you can imagine, it's kind of important. A little bit of more lore here. Castaway's Journal. Nox, Hookratis. Not finding any luck so far, so I think we'll just roam a little bit here. See if we can find what we're looking for. There's a boss over there, King Packer. Small settlement. I think I'm actually too far to the south. So, as you can guess, small settlement. There are actually settlements with people here. And they will usually have traders, which you can buy pals from. And you can also sell your pals to get currency, buy resources, things like that. So do keep that in mind. There is different ways to get your goals completed here. But yeah, currently we're just going to keep on roaming. I think we've seen most of what this place has to offer, except for the Malpaca, which does look like an alpaca. But yeah, for the time being, I'll be looking for, well, the main thing that we are looking for, the Vixy. And when we find one, I will be back. So we actually made our way over to the boss area here, and as you can see, we have the King Packer, followed by his Malpackers. Basically, they're his servants to some degree. But yeah, dude looks majestic, and he's going to be probably one of our targets later on. He is a mount, and having such a majestic mount would be a very, very nice thing to have. For sure. We have found our target here, the Vixy. We also found a Denosum and a Capricity. Again, this is basically a walking berry bush. Kind of dangerous though. This is a kind of a walking flower, also kind of dangerous. And the Vixy is running away, so let's get after it. We still can. And again, we do want to try to see if we can get more than one of these. That would be preferable. And as you can see, they don't actually attack on first sight, so we can take a little bit of time here to just regain some stamina before we do start the assault. And with that, we have most likely here captured our first one. But I would really like to get a couple more before we go back to camp. And as you can see down here, we have some dire owl howls, which is basically a very aggressive doggo or wolf. And we don't want to mess with them. They will actually just kill us. As well as the daydreams running around, they're very aggressive. They will kind of attack everything around them. That's a couple of Kramuses, not Vixy, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll be running around a little bit more. We'll be looking for a few more Vixy if we can. And maybe that we have one, we have two, we have three. If I can catch all four of these, we will be very happy. Now the thing with how these guys work is that we're gonna put them in a ranch, and the ranch has a maximum population of 4. So if we can get all 4 of them in the ranch, we basically have infinite blue balls, which sounds horrifying, I do know, but at the same time, it's just such an easy thing to do early game that's going to allow for a lot of freedom and a lot of calmness. And I think those dire howls are a little bit stuck in each other, which is why they're not really doing anything. But yeah, goal here now is going to be to capture these Vixies. And once we've done so, we're going to try and make our way out. Now that black hole over there is a dungeon, which we probably are a little bit interested in, to be fair. But at the moment, not really anything we want to really mess with. So we can go and have a look at it, check what level it is, but we're probably not going to go inside. And you stay in there. Although I would like a dire howl. As I said, I don't think we have the defenses right now to really... Oh, I'm wasting so many balls. I don't think we really have the defenses right now to really mess with one. And you're really being annoying. 69% chance. Is that one getting punished? Probably. Could whack it a little bit more, but honestly, at this point, it should be caught, and it is. And we still have 19 Palspheres to save here. So what I'm thinking is that I'm going to make my way back. There are a few fast travel points there. We're probably going to unlock one of those. But I'm going to try and capture things like these pangolets, this bucket, which of course looks like you know what. And this guy, the lift monk. This guy is actually incredibly important to try and get early, because lift monk is kind of a jack of all trades for your base. So picking him up, we're going to have a look at him once we get back. But he too is one of those that runs away from you. Kind of like the pangolets, kind of like the bucket. But as I said, the goal here now is just going to be to pick up a bunch of these base pals for leveling purposes. And also if we can find things like the large dark egg here. Eggs come in different sizes. The bigger the size, the rarer the pal inside. So do keep that in mind. But yeah, you can hide behind 3s for some attacks, but some attacks do go through them, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, pangolets and sprockets, basically, again, just gonna farm 10 of each base Pokemon at this point. Well, Palmon, not Pokemon. It's gonna mess me up so much. I grew up with Pokemon, and this is basically what we all wish for. Let's be perfectly honest. But yeah, the penguins drop pal fluids. Gonna farm them. Gonna farm probably some of the chickens, some other things, and once we actually run out of balls, we'll go back home, have a look at our haul, and then decide what we're doing next. We found a bit of another jack of all trades here, the Tansy, which is actually a little monkey, but it has a very devastating wind attack that it just used on us. And not only that, but fairly early on, you can actually equip this guy with a assault rifle. Now, he isn't very precise with his assault rifle, but it is one of those interesting little fun things you can actually do early game. And Lift Monk here is kind of the same in the sense that you can actually equip him with an SMG. Well, he's also very good for your base, so again, pick these up if you see them. There's no reason not to. And again, also, the first 10 captures of each Palmon do give quite a large amount of XP compared to, say, just killing something. which I will kind of showcase with these land balls down here. And this guy's very stubborn for 70%, which makes me a little bit sad because we're wasting a lot of balls. But that's just RNG sometimes. See that experience bonus of 81 for us. But if we say kill a land ball or knock it out, let's be honest here, we get 7 XP. On the contrary, if we take that same level 1 land ball, and sorry, let's do it level 2 instead. I was a little bit too brutal. It's kind of hard to sometimes stop the spirit attacks. If you basically when you hit, you start the next one. That gave us 90 experience for level 2. So as you can see, it's very much way quicker and way more efficient to, particularly early game leveling up, to get a bunch of pal balls and just go capture the ones that you haven't actually captured already, because the experience gain does scale with your current level. So as my level goes up, the experience gain from capturing a pal will also go up. We also have a bit of an interesting one here, T-Fent, which is basically a tiny elephant that also is water. And again, water is something that we need right now because Palspheres is something we're going to need fairly soon. We have 8. We want to get 10 before we go home. And that's kind of what we're going to be working on here. We do only have 5 spheres left, so while I'd usually probably try and take these Tansies, for the time being we will not. We'll just be getting some more water ones before we go home. And this guy is actually a little bit of a boss. You can see he has his own health bar, he has his own tile, Dancer of the Plains. And he's basically a little bit of a dragon snake with 4 legs. So let's just leave him be for now. But we will be coming back to him, as I mentioned earlier. There is some ancient tech that we're going to want to get. I don't know if I actually mentioned it earlier now that I think about it. Basically, ancient tech is interesting technologies. We'll go through them a little bit later on. But we need basically an incubator, which is under the ancient tech 3. We need to kill bosses and do dungeons to get ancient civilization parts to actually make those. And the Mamorest here is fighting something. It's fighting another one of its own kind. So we could try and be cheeky and wait and join in, but honestly what I want to try and do more is get that egg tier there. But I don't want to be too greedy, so for the time being, let's just get this lift monk instead. I say, don't be too greedy, let's attack something. But yeah, let's get the lift monk. We don't really have the necessary balls to capture a Mamorest at this point either. You'll get like a 0 point something percentage, which, let's face it, isn't very good. So we'll not do that. And we actually hit that on the first try. So yeah, lucky with some, unlucky with others. And we even have some here that are getting attacked. And we could potentially get killed as a, well, unfortunate viewer if we aren't careful. Like that poor little boy over there. But we can, of course, toss one just for fun. 0.0% capture rate with basically 0 HP. Yeah, that ain't happening. Let's just, okay, he's mad at me now. That is bad. If we die, we do drop everything but our pals, so we'd have to come back and get our loot. So with that in mind, I think we're going to just get out of here. We also do want to try and get another Watermon, or Water Pal. And currently, I think he actually died up there, so let's go up there and have a look. Because the Mamorest does drop a few things that we really would benefit from picking up. Why is Chillet's health bar showing up? Are they fighting a ton of things up there? Oh, Chillet is actually in the battle. We might get some ancient parts here for free, which would be tremendous. And Eikthay there has gone down. The Mamorest is still up and running. He did drop high quality pal oil. He dropped leather. He dropped some meat. But yeah, generally, following an angry one of these on the run can net you a decent chunk of resources here. We're just running through here, picking things up. And yeah, shame that we can't capture the things that have already been knocked. But a lot of these things are going to be helpful for us later on. So can't be too upset. And did he knock down Chillet? I don't see Chillet anywhere. Oh, he did. That's Chillet. Did Chillet drop the loot? Doesn't look like it, but the bodies can roll and get sent flying. So, just want to make absolutely sure that we don't have some free parts lying around it. But yeah, Bosses like Chillet will respawn. Honestly, we probably should have just gotten an attack in on it. That would have been the best, but to be fair, we wouldn't probably not have made it up here. What we are going to do, though, is actually mess with this Echidere, because it's level 9, which is slightly lower. Now, the thing we need to be careful with is a stray hit hitting the Mammorest, because that will actually put us in trouble. So let's try and be careful with that, and also try and dodge the Elk's attacks. So that should be it. Let's try it. 40% chance. We can probably get a hit or two in more. Like so. Then we try again. Probably one or two more. Oh, our weapon is damaged, so let's use the pickaxe. Am I out of balls? Nope. We have 2 left. I got the 10 Pal Fluids. We got everything that we're looking for. So getting this guy, again, would just be a bonus. And we did. Because they only do Twitch twice. So that makes it very, very easy to see if you caught something or not. But for now, we're going to make our way to the nearest fast travel point, which should be directly northeast. And we can actually see on the map here, 150 meters. We'll go there, and then we'll head back home. Here we are. We have made it to the fort here. There's some lift monks around. There's some lore over there. We can go get that later, I think. Honestly, for now, we just want to get this unlocked. There's a celery. Some more lift monk pretty. Sorry, no celery. And we'll just head back to base. You can actually fast travel from your base through your pal box by clicking C here to any of one of these you've unlocked. So it makes it exploring very, very valuable because you can immediately get back to where you were. Let's take a stock about our gains here. 24 palladium, 84 wood, 38 stone, leather, which is very important for crafting saddles, among other things, for actually riding pals. Very, very good. Some bones, some tusks, or horns rather, the pal fluids, a large egg. Honestly, a lot of this is really, really great to have. Probably could have gotten a little bit more wool, but that's fine. And what we'll also go ahead and do is slap some food in that pal box, because I'm pretty sure our 2 pals are starving, although I have no clue where they actually are. Are they taking a bath, maybe? That's kind of the negative of building here. Sometimes your pals will fall in the water. But yeah, it says they're in good condition and they're working, so they're doing something. But if you can't find them, you can also just do this. Kind of acquaint them. And as I said here, we'll just put some of the Vixys here to work. None of them really has any negative traits except for the coward. But none of them has any really good traits for working either. Same here really for these guys, which is really, really good. And let's just go through a little bit why the monkey here in particular is really, really nice. As you can see, you can both plant and harvest, signified by the seed, the one furthest to the left, the green leaf. You can also collect wood, do handicrafts, and also carry things. Lift monk is kind of the same, but we do also need someone who can water, so the pangolins here are actually a good option for that as well. So with this, we can kind of automate berry farming, which is something that we will be doing very, very soon. We'll need to build a berry plantation. We also need to build a ranch, which is going to require a little bit more fiber. So let's just get that out of the way first. And I will be doing a little bit of farming here. We will be building a bunch of things, but getting the ranch up and running and putting the Vixys in it is actually going to be really, really important for us. So where do we want to place this? Probably actually where the Vixy is standing. I feel like this would be a nice spot. But as you can see, it's in the way. Can't really place it there. We're going to have to wait for it to move. And it is. And I think we are just going to try and sneak it a little bit into the wall here, maybe just slightly. Doesn't look perfect, let's face it, but we'll place the ranch there. And the 2 little wool boys are going to go ahead and get started on that. Now, I do also want to enhance my points here a little bit. I think getting 500 weight will be good for now. And we want to get stamina up to probably 200. So that's going to be the goal for the time being. Technology-wise, we have unlocked a few more things here. We have leveled up 4 levels on our little journey just now. And let's go through the things we need and why we need them. Palgear workbench. This is to allow pals to use the partner skills. This includes making saddles, so we definitely want that one. Statue of Power allows us to take those green effigies that we find to empower ourselves and use pal souls to empower our pals. We do need that one. The Foxpark's harness is also a really good one very early. It allows you to take a Foxpark, pick him up, and use him as a portable flamethrower. For now, we're not going to be doing that, so we'll leave that one be. Logging sites and stone pits are huge for us. What this basically means is that logging and stone we can assign pals to do, and they're infinite resources. We can have infinite logging, we can have infinite stone, and if you add the crusher to that, The crusher can turn wood into fiber and stone into uh, Paldeck. So basically, these three now can make full resources for us by the use of pals, which is incredibly good. We could upgrade to the bat here to smack things with the bat instead of the toy that we currently have. We're not gonna do that though. What we are gonna get is the hot spring. Basically, it's a relaxation for pals. They use sanity while working, and this allows them to restore sanity. You can also restore sanity through good food. We don't have access to that, so getting a hot spring is going to be a good one. And as you can see, this is why we collected those pal fluids. Sandbags, basically a guard post for your pals. Not something we need to worry too much about. And same with tropical and tundra outfits. It's basically just for cold and warm weather. We're not going to be venturing into those zones in the near future. And as I said, the egg incubator here, we are going to want to need that one, but that's going to require us to beat some bosses or some dungeons to get. However, the next upgrade here is going to be a good one. 3-shot bow, burners, helmet, and also nails. So we're looking forward to picking that up. And as you can see, they're also in the technology tree. We have Lift Monk's submachine gun. Basically, he'll sit on our head and shoot with his submachine gun. And also here, we can get Tansy and assault rifle. And the saddle for the elk here is actually not that far away. It's really, really close. It's just 3 levels away. So we can actually get that pretty quick, I would think. Alright, let's see what this one thing wants us to do. It wants us to build a berry plantation. So we're going to go ahead and do that right away. We're going to kind of do things in order here. Berry plantation, I think what we're going to do is cut down this tree. Get a berry plantation built. We'll build a logging site. We'll build a stone site. So I'll farm some resources for that. We'll get them built. And then we'll have a look at the layout and how we've set things up. Dawn has just broken for day 3. The animals are back to work. As you can see here, the Vixys are grazing, the lamb ball is building, and we have gotten some things done here. The ranch, the berry patch here, kind of tucked away at the moment. We don't really have anyone who can tend to it because we don't have space. The lumbering, which is going to produce wood. The stone pit, which is going to produce stone. And also here we have a chest between them. And the reason why we place this chest here is incredibly simple. The wood in the lumbering and the wood in the stone pit, the stone in this one, they aren't actually part of the base or can't actually be used unless you put them in a chest. And these can go up pretty rapidly to the point where you can't really carry them. You'll be stuck in place. But the idea is you pick it up, you drop it, you move a little bit closer to the chest, and then you put it in. So basically putting in more than you are supposed to. And as you can see here, these guys are already hard at work here. They made 3 Palspheres. We're actually up to 12. We started with the 2. They did go to bed fairly early though. So not really too much work has been done, but you get the idea. These guys can basically produce an infinite supply of the blue Palspheres, which is going to be really, really nice to have early game. Now we have built campfire, we have built a berry plantation, we have deployed the pals. We're going to go ahead and accept that. Next up, we are to build a Paldeck workbench and a statue of power. That's actually pretty straightforward and simple. We're going to add another lamb bell though, because, well, it needs a little bit extra work here to help out. We've actually placed the statue of power up there. I thought that would be a nice location. But what we haven't actually placed is a Palgear workbench, which requires a couple of cloth. Now that is incredibly easy to make because we already have a bunch of wool. And if we didn't, we'd just put a couple of those lamb balls into the ranch. So it's not really a big deal. Also keep in mind that the Vixy doesn't actually only get, pal balls. They can find arrows, they can find some other things. So do keep that in mind as well. But yeah. We're going to go ahead and get this built. And don't worry, I am planning to build a house at one point. In case people are getting worried. I am planning to build a house at one point. And the idea is that we're going to build some prime real estate waterfront setup here. If we can. I haven't actually tried it out, so I don't know if that's going to be viable or not. But you get the idea. We want to try and see if we can build something a little bit more interesting, I guess you could say. But yeah, the feed bag is there. We filled it with berries. The pals can go and eat whenever they're hungry, which they are currently doing. And as I said, we'll get this built, we'll get the statue built, and then we'll see what the next goal is. Here we are. The statue has been built, and we've achieved another base level, goal. Next up, we need to build the crusher. We've actually built the other 2 things, the stone pit and logging site. And for the crusher, we need a little bit of wood and palladium. Palladium. Let's go and mine that. So the lift monks have finished building the crusher wheel. As you can see, it needs watering skill, but as I said, you can make paldium, you can make fiber from wood and stone, which makes things a little bit easier. But yeah, just one liftman currently working on the planting, a little bit of arrows, a little bit of, well, a lot of arrows actually here this time around. But we have actually at this point gained 25 balls over the course of basically half a day. So you can say that daily these guys probably will produce around 40 to 50 blue balls. And that is a huge amount. It's a large amount of resources too. That you have to remember, to make one of these, we need about, what's it, 3 wood, 3 stone, a paldium fragment, and again, they save us for a tremendous amount of you know, resource that we can now use to upgrade the base, which is very, very nice. Next up, level 7, let's go. We need a hot spring, a primitive furnace, and another berry plantation. That does sound fairly simple to get done though. Another berry plantation, we can just get that kind of settled in right here. See if we can line it up with the ranch, make it look decent. Other than that, we need a furnace and a, well, a hot tub. We don't actually have that yet because we aren't technologically able. Oh, we actually do have the hot tub. We need a little bit of pallet fragments, some wood. But yeah, we need a primitive furnace, need some flame organs, need some wood. So what we can actually do now with the pal balls that we have, we're actually going to go ahead and go and farm some of these things that we do need. We're also going to put one of the Ectiodias here on wood cutting duty, which is going to kind of speed up wood cutting quite drastically. It's still going to take a while. Like, he isn't super quick or anything like that, but he is quick enough that it's gonna make a dent. Let's face it, if we go on an expedition, we're away for a day, we're going to notice it when we come back. Let's just put it like that. Let's also go ahead here, place a, well, one more bed for him. Apparently we don't have enough wood, so he'll be put hard to work at that. But what I'm going to be doing now is actually incredibly straightforward. We are going to be taking advantage of the extra experience gained by capturing pals. And as I said earlier, we got about 7 experience with killing knocking out a pal. And in contrast, for capturing one, we got about 10 times as much. So as you can imagine, it is very valuable to capture particularly these ones that are weak and easy to pick up. And we can kind of see here in the Paldeck what their drops are, how many we captured. So we can still capture 7 more land balls and still get experience bonuses, 7 more Cativas, 9 more Chickapees, 7 more Lipmunks, and 9 more Fox Sparks. So we're going to use these balls for that. I am just going to speed along it quickly. I don't think it's going to be, well, too interesting. We're basically just going to go around and knock these guys out, capture them, and do so until we're out of balls. So let's do that quick, and then I'll make a summary of what we caught, and what we'll do going forwards after that. So, while catching things, just a fox pong as conceived just now, we actually stumbled upon something a little bit interesting on the other side of this chasm. There's a blue tree here, and of course the effigy. But the blue tree is interesting because you can see it has some fruits. In this game, there are skill fruits. We found one actually that I forgot to mention. And in this case, it's a dark skill fruit, Poison Blast, which allows a pal to learn the skill, well, Poison Blast. And you can find these skill fruits on trees, you can buy them from merchants, but it's one of those things that is kind of good to mention. And we have kind of already completed the tutorial. We still have about 19 balls. We have leveled up once, and as I said, we are going to try and use all of these, so I'll keep on going for a little bit longer. We're about 2/3 through day 3. We have used all our pal balls, we're down to just 1. And we have actually reached level 12. So we've had some pretty good progress. The only one we really maxed out at this point is just the chicken. So we can still capture lambs, we can still capture cativas. There's still a bunch of pals that we can use for leveling up. And as you can see here, we've gone for basically less than half a day. That's 25 new spheres. 26 with this one. So as you can see, we can get a ton of them pretty easily. We are going to need some watering here to have these berries grow. And as you can see, these guys have actually collected 200 wood. And as I told you earlier, picking this up is most likely going to overweight you. But the idea is incredibly simple. We drop it, we do this, and we just transfer it to a chest like that. And now we can use it within the base with these. But yeah, wood is now solved. We're never going to have wood problems ever again. Which is, of course, very, very good. Now, hot spring and primitive furnace, we can probably get both of these underway. We actually have what we needed for the hot spring. Remember, we did go out of our way to kind of get, to some degree, rid of some of the annoyances earlier. And I'm a little bit unsure where I want to place the hot spring. Remember, the enemies are most likely going to come from here. But for the time being, I think just placing it right here next to the ranch would be acceptable. We can move it later on. It's a little bit off kilter, honestly, so let's just fix that. And yeah, honestly, where is the best place for this thing? It probably would be near the water. But then again, it's going to be a little bit longer walk path. So I think we're just going to place it next to ranch for now. And as I said, we'll just move it as we see fit. So just place it like that, and that should be a-okay. Now, we did also capture about 25 pounds while we were out, so let's just take a look at what the box has to offer. And as you can see, we captured lamb balls, cativas, some pangolets, creamies, and a few of the other things here. But we also captured a incredibly interesting lamb ball here. So this lamb ball came with 4 passive skills: Bottomless Stomach, Work Slave for work speed, Workaholic for sanity drops, and Musclehead, which lowers his work speed again. But this guy could be a very interesting one for breeding, because if we can say take Workaholic and Work Slave and lose the Musclehead, he can also be very, very good. But as you can see, you can find a bunch of these guys having interesting perks. Musclehead and Serious for, well, the chicken here, not really doing him any favors. But with breeding, we can kind of change that around. 30% movement speed. So I say we're looking good at the moment. And we can just sort by Paldeck numbers. We only have 2 Foxparks with that one in our party. But yeah, that should be enough to really get the things that we need. So let's go into our technology here and see what we need to unlock. We did get the offsprings. We have unlocked 3 levels. We're going to get the bow. We're going to get the primitive furnace because, well, we're going to need it. But we're going to get the hairband and nails. Nails are made with ingots, and it's going to be necessary for future upgrades. We could get the submachine gun for lift mic, but we don't really have the resources at the moment. So what we're going to get instead is metal tools and the high quality workbench to kind of make them. Pelt armor, which is basically leather armor rather than cloth armor, which we're currently using, is an upgrade. The meat cleaver, kind of brutal. You can butcher your summon pals. So yeah, I don't think we'll get this yet. I haven't experimented much with it, so we'll wait with doing anything like that. I believe we're going to need this for an upgrade. We could get the Tansy assault rifle, but honestly, getting the Sal for the 8-2 there, it's going to be the current priority. I'm not going to lie. Getting that Sal is going to help our movement so much that it's going to be very, very valuable to pick up. So we're going to try and work towards that. And to do that, we are going to need, as you guessed, a primitive furnace. We can actually make 2 of these if we really want to. But remember, we are going to need a pal to kind of work it. And the pal in this case is going to be our fireboy. So we are kind of limited in that regard. Let's go ahead and get that made. And also, currently, we can't really make anything else. What we are going to have to do is go and manually mine some ore, which is that node right there. But we'll have a look at what the next upgrade is before we make any decisions on what to do. Now, I'm going to pick up all the points in the stamina. We don't really need a huge amount of carry weight right now, since we are going to be doing some manual mining. 200 stamina is usually good enough to mine a whole node before running out. So that is kind of going to be what we're aiming for. And we're going to go ahead and place a few more beds here. Should probably make something that looks like a bit like a stable in time. But for now, we'll just do like this. It's going to get the job done, at least temporarily. Now remember, if you place too many blueprints like this, some of them might vanish. So do be careful with how you do this. But honestly, for reaching the end of our 3rd day, I'd say we've done fairly well. And I am going to be heading out again to just get some more Palmon and to level up a little bit more here. But we have gotten the recipe. 2 ore makes an ingot. So we can already start production of 6 of them. And as I said, what we are going to need here now is to have one of those Fox Sparks to kind of get production going. And by base upgrading here, we'll be able to get that running. And as I said, need a high quality workbench, need a medieval medicine workbench. And that is going to be kind of the next upgrade that we're looking for. Currently, I don't think we have any Fox Sparks here with particularly, good skills that's going to help production. And as you can see that 1-5 symbol on the left side kind of signifies that he can be used for making ore. So for the time being, I'm probably going to just mine ore throughout the night. Well, at least mine some more. Probably try and get 30, 40 ingots up and running. And once we got that settled, we are probably going to go ahead and make the 8-2 saddle. We're missing a little bit of fiber and some Paldean fragments, but that we can farm pretty easily. And also, we might go ahead and get this cloth done and maybe make ourselves some pelt armor. But that saddle does come first, and I'm gonna go ahead and start doing a little bit of mining. So while our pals are sleeping, we're gonna go on a little bit of well, a little bit of a trip here. So we can't actually make metal tools just yet, although we have them unlocked. What we actually are gonna need is this high quality workbench, which means that we need 14 more ingots. We already put in what we need here to make these nails. As you can see, it's gonna go rather slow. So what I'm thinking that we do here is potentially put in someone who can do handiwork. I think the lift monks should be able to do it. Cativas probably will be able to, but at the same time, it's going to be a little bit more annoyance that we're probably used to. But yeah, we'll leave the nails here to kind of be done. The high quality workbench will be quicker. So what I'm thinking we do here now, we have gotten 42 now blue balls. Let's go ahead and go on a bit of an expedition. We should probably leave some of the stuff in the base before we go. And that expedition is going to be incredibly simple. We're going to go here and gather some resources that we're going to need. And the resources in question are very simply going to be ore. And there's a few good places to mine ore, but right next to Desolate Church here, there's like a huge ore field right next to it. So we're going to make our way over there while we do a little bit of mining, a little bit of collecting. And honestly, that should be fine. We do have some eggs here, as you can see. But yeah, making our way over there, what we do collecting is definitely okay by my estimations. It should be just fine. And that is exactly what we're going to do. Now, in terms of the food here for the pals, I think we are good. We do have berries, so 65 berries should be enough to last them a while. But yeah, we're going to have to probably kidnap one of these lift monks once we get back, force them to make nails. We have put 20 ingots on the oven here. But as I said, if we want metal tools to speed up ingot farming in the future, we're definitely going to have to, we're definitely going to have to put in some work ourselves. And also with the base upgrade here, high quality workbench is fairly expensive, but the medieval workbench is actually pretty inexpensive. So 5 nails, that's 3 ingots. An ingot makes 2 nails, and the Paldean fragments, not really a big deal, so I think we're fine with that. But yeah, as I said, unfortunately we're going to have to wait a little bit for that saddle. It's just how things be. And what I think we do is that we're going to teleport over here and kind of explore our way over, see if we find anything of interest. Although we could also just teleport down here to make life a little bit easier, go like this. We'll do just that. And we'll gather some pals that we probably have seen from before. But we might also gather some pals that we haven't really messed much with, like this Hook Raiders. Again, just to kind of level ourselves up a little bit quicker. Now this guy is kind of sturdy, as you can see. But it also is for fun. Excuse me, to 1v1 these guys. But we need to kind of be careful here, because if our kitty, well, does that for starters, that's not going to be great. But also the combat over here is actually going to be huge. We are going to fight it in the hopes that we can actually get it. And the reason for that is, again, it has level 2 mining. So getting this guy would actually be a huge boon for us. Now, I probably should have made a bow at this point, because that would make this a lot simpler. But, yeah, I haven't yet. And that is my own fault. But yeah, I think me and the kitty here can get something done, hopefully. I don't really want to block attacks for the kitty. I want it to be the other way around. And he just fell off the map, which is not great. Let's resummon him. And I think we'll get Pangolin on this, because I think Pangolin has ranged attacks. So he should have a bit of an easier time hitting. Yeah, I like that. The ranged freezing attacks is definitely getting the work done. I did not see that one coming, so I didn't dodge it. 11%. As you see that the capture rate is actually higher when they're affected by a status effect like Frozen. But for now, we're just gonna have to call Pangolin back, because if we don't, he might actually just kill him. And we actually got him there. Combat. Very good. And also with that, we leveled up to 13. So that we'll take that. I think we might also just head back at this point, because the day is breaking, and our boys are going to be working. We could capture a couple of Depressos, but honestly, that's not going to make a big deal. So I'm gonna go back. We're gonna get the resource that we already have kind of settled. There is a ore node up here that we can mine, and that should be enough, honestly. So there's also another one over there. Let's mine these two ores to start with, and maybe capture a few of the pals around. So let's get back to base very, very soon. So we're actually in a pretty good situation here. As you can see, refining wise, we currently have 2 ingots on. We got 20 of them kind of cooked. And we got the high quality workbench made here. And we actually have enough that we can make a metal pickaxe. And after we've made the metal pickaxe, we can actually go ahead and make the 2 nails that we need, because we already have excess, to make the medicine workbench and level up. And with that, we can probably put the Tomcat to work here temporarily. We're going to have to manually mine, well, ore for a little while longer. But at this stage, you're kind of reaching the point where the trees don't really need to be kind of mined anymore, or rather dealt with anymore. So you don't need to upgrade your hatchet to metal. There's just no real benefit to it. You are going to get all the wood you need from your logging operation over here. So there's no need for, you know, kind of stretching things out by using, by upgrading that tool. You are perfectly fine using a stone axe for the rest of the game. You probably aren't going to be clearing wood for any other reason than to just get rid of the trees while you're building. And later on, when you do that, it's perfectly fine to upgrade the axe to make things go a little bit quicker. But early on in the game, no real need. And I think we are going to go ahead here and take the sheep that I put in and kind of reset him, because he took over the ranch work rather than the crafting work, which is why I hired him. But yeah, we'll get the medicine bench built, and then we'll upgrade once more, and then we'll put Tomcat to work. Or Tombat, sorry. And here we are. Medicine bench has been built. Honestly, not really something you need much of the time. It can be used to kind of help out your pals temporarily, but haven't really been messing around with it much myself. There we go, base level 9. As you can see, once we get a cooler box and a sphere workbench up and running, we're actually going to be able to set up an extra base, and that is going to be that said mining base. If we have a look at our technology here to figure out when we are going to get those, we have unlocked level 13, which unlocks crossbow, which is a massive upgrade. We want that. And also the cooler box, which is going to take 20 ingots. You can kind of see things are getting a little bit more expensive, as well as a training dummy and a metal spear. We're probably going to start using crossbows rather than spears, so no big need to get that. Spare workbench, actually pretty cheap here. Gonna get mega spheres, so in terms of ingots, it's actually not too bad, just 25. But we are gonna have to level up once more, which means we're gonna have to capture more pals, which honestly shouldn't be a huge deal. Of course, we'd also like to make the crossbow, which is gonna be even more ingots, but we'll cross that bridge once we get there. For the time being, though, we can take off the fox. We can take off the lamp, so it doesn't take a ranch space randomly. And what I am thinking we're going to do here is probably put one of the pangolins up for grabs, or up for work, if you will. Because the simple reason that the pangolins now have... we need someone to start doing some, well, cooking. We're also going to go ahead and put the Tombat to work. As you can see, 2 mining, 2 carrying, and 2 harvesting. So he's not a bad bet either. And finally, I think what we're going to do here is actually put in... well, not really these guys. They're kind of a higher leveled sheep. Rather, they drop more wool than the sheep. The alpacas drop even more. And I think our final thing is just put another lift monk to work. Or we could put a pansy. But we want one that has a more positive of a perk. But yeah, this looks to be good right now. We have, again, a huge amount of Palspheres. So the goal right now, for me personally, is going to be very, very simple. While they collect wood, collect stone, and, you know, work the fields, we're going to go ahead and head towards that church that I mentioned, where we can find a huge amount of iron, or rather ingots. And once we get there, we can actually mine that with a new pickaxe that we made, and smelt it, and then work from there. So I'm going to get that underway. If we find something new on the way, I'll probably show you. But we are going to be capturing anything that is weak that we, well, kind of need. Like these 2 fox parks. We still only have the stone sphere, or spear. So we're still kind of limited on our weaponry. But we shall make our way over. And once we get there, we'll see where we kind of stand. But yeah, it's looking like a very, very good start here. We're just on basically the 4th in-game day. And already, I'd say we got a lot of work done here. And again, yeah, just showing you how much experience you get from this now that we've actually leveled up a little bit. So currently we're getting almost 300 experience for catching one of these guys, times 10, and looks like it fills about almost 10% of a bar. So with that in mind, you can once again just think about how quickly you level up by doing this. I've been watching a few streamers. I don't think most of them haven't actually caught up onto this, or they're just not using it in order to prolong the gameplay, which honestly is fine. Like, it's an open world game. You play it exactly how you like it. If you want to limit yourself to, say, one of each, two of each, not really, you know, capture without a reason, that is fine. But again, do keep in mind, it is most likely the fastest way to level, and we're going to take advantage of it here while we make our way over to the church and the mines. So we already reached level 15 here, just basically running just outside, and we have captured a few of them, but mainly the stone spear broke and our armor broke, so we're going to go to the nearest teleport formation to kind of get out of here at this moment, because we kind of have to. We are going to do a little bit of mining. We already have 40 nodes or 40 ore here, which we're going to start cooking. We just picked up these ones as we've been going, which is honestly a good way of doing things. But yeah, we're going to mine these, we're going to get back to base, we're going to get everything cooking. And this is a little bit quicker than the previous edition of this pickaxe, which usually would require 2 hits for every ore. We now get an ore every, well, most hits we get 1. Every 3 or 4 hits we have to do an extra one. But yeah, this is a way quicker way of obtaining ore compared to the previous edition. So I would really, again, just recommend getting either, well, a base close to a good mine. 13, we actually have 187 minutes or 3 hours to get that done. If you want to try that dungeon, we might do that some other time. But for now, back to base, get this ore into the cooker, and that is going to be probably rather helpful. So who do we pull away? I think we pull away one of the lift monks. I think that's going to be the best bet. And then we put in back one of the finite boys. But as you can see here, we got a bunch of gum mossers. We didn't actually catch this guy. We basically got started right here. So we didn't actually catch that many. Just, what is this, 14? 14 new pals was enough to level us a few times up to level 15. So again, incredibly powerful way to just level. And again, these guys make it very, very easy and almost fully automatic to do so. So would really recommend that early game. Spend 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to just go out there, catch yourself a Vixy, and, well, or 4, as is our case. But you'll probably be very happy with the choice to do so, because it is going to benefit you in the long run. And that is actually the main reason why we do it. Now, I am still going to head out on another run here to fetch some materials. We are still getting stone, we are getting wood there, but we're going to do another material run. Oh, Pangolin, come back. For the very simple reason that we're going to need a lot more. Let's be honest. We need 20 for the cooler, 25 total for the next level. Upgrade, we had 32. We do want to make a crossbow, that's 10. We probably do want to make some armor, that's going to be a bit more. So, all in all, we still have a little bit of work ahead of us. So, yeah, we're going to need more than 32. We are going to head out for yet another run. But we are close enough now to Desolate Church that it shouldn't be a problem to just walk over there and find a little bit more ore. But before we do that, we might as well just take a quick look at what we might have unlocked. So, again, because ore is very heavy, 8 weight per, basically, ore, you're going to need 2 of that, 16 per ingot. We're going to be investing in weight, for sure. We're also going to go ahead and eat a little bit. But as you probably heard, there was some shooting up here. And I believe there is a syndicate camp. We haven't actually talked much about those guys. But they've shot they shot something dead here, a Kativa. But generally the syndicate guys are great because they will lower monsters for you, and they are in every zone. They have camps, and those camps usually come with a bit of a benefit. You can fight them like this. Pangolin is now going to show them the meaning of fear. Just like this, although they do have guns. Doesn't really hurt for that much. We're probably going to be using, at least early game, mainly our boys to fight them. They do drop ammunition. But as I said, the main reason why these guys are nice to have around is because they have a pal in the middle of their base usually, and you can capture some of the pals that they've weakened for you, like that fox that we just threw a ball at, as well as release the pal in the cage, and it counts as if you caught it. So generally now, not only did we get that that fire park, we also got a Mao crest on top of it, and the Mao crest is actually kind of hard to find because it's an ice version of the Mao. So as you might expect, these camps are actually usually very good sources of kind of semi-free pals. Sometimes they can even be somewhat rare ones. So it's not a bad place to kind of stop by. And honestly, at lower levels, they aren't really that dangerous, but do keep in mind that their numbers can quickly overwhelm you. They have guns. Guns do kind of spew out bullets. So if you have a pal to protect you, it's good. If not, I would recommend getting the pal in the middle and then very, very quickly just getting out of there is most likely going to be your best bet. Now we need one more Fox Parks here to get to 10, so we're just going to go ahead and do that. As you can see here, we are being kind of a little bit annoying with the sphere, and we have the syndicates here still following us, which is of course not great, but I'm wondering if we can stick the egg tier there on him. That would be benefiting us as well, so let's see if we can bait him into shooting it, because if we line up like this, he might just accidentally fire and hit it. Like that. And with that, we now have a new enemy. Well, the Ecturdia has a new enemy. And also the Fox Parks over there. We don't really need him, so we're just going to allow Fate to the side. And we could try and cap him, honestly. But yeah, we're a little bit too late. Ecturdia there is running away, I think. Yeah, he is, unfortunately. So we're going to go ahead here and do the same. Just get out of here and get to the mining area. While also looking for things like this card. Castaway's Journal, day 11. Considering that we're on day 4, I'd say we're doing fairly well. But yeah, we need one more Kativa, we need some Kermis, so I'm just gonna fight these guys while making my way to the mining area. And if we find anything new and cool, I'll make sure to show you. So we got a little bit lost. Sealed Realm of the Frozen Wings. This is basically an instant dungeon. If you go in here, you are going to be, well, face to face with the boss immediately. We also have an interesting one over there, an alpaca, which basically looks like an alpaca. The boss that we have right now, not really very good against it. We also don't really have the tools to find it. I really like a crossbow. But there is a fast travel point here, so we'll go ahead and unlock that. We've also leveled up to 16. We're going to go ahead and enhance our stats a little bit here. More into weight. And we'll have a look at technology, I think, once we get back at base. We're not going to really touch that before it. But we're going to be heading, again, down here. As I said, got a little bit lost. We have been, well, chasing things that we could catch, which has had an effect on that. And now that it's night, a lot more of those things are going to kind of show up, which is not a terrible thing, but it's not necessarily a great thing either. Now, I am going to mine my way over, and hopefully we find something interesting on the way. While making our way over, we actually found something fairly interesting, and that is these two boars. Now, these two boars are very interesting for two reasons. They are one of the best early game mounts, and they are very aggressive, which means that they will usually attack you, but if we shank him like this, we should be fine. And we're going to try and cap both of these, because again, we're kind of running around like that. We want to complete the decks, for starters, and, well, these guys are kind of beneficial to have around. They can also somewhat mine. We can put them to work at the main base. They can't mine nodes, but they do know how to mine, and that's going to make it a little bit easier in the future. Now, we could also start messing around with the daydreams and start catching them as well. It's not actually a terrible idea. And we put our pangolin here. Pentama literally means penguin bullet, which he'll live up his name later. But I thought I'd put him on aggressive. But clearly I did not, so he might need a little bit of help in deciding to attack something. And he should have no problem beating these guys, so I'm not worried. And we're gonna, as I said, just capture these guys. It's pretty straightforward and simple. I thought he was gonna kill him, hence why we pulled him back. Because if he kills it, then we can't capture it. Ah! I dodge rolled into 3 like a donut, and then he murdered it, so yeah. The pangolin is bloodthirsty, let's just put it like that. Now, mining foreman, logging foreman basically just makes us more efficient at mining. You can actually see where we want to go over there. but we want to get this chest because they can contain some goodies. In this case, just bread and money. And can I actually fall down here without breaking my legs? Broke them a little bit, but we'll be okay. We'll fight the Prezzo, we'll basically fight everything at this point and make our way up. And we shall see, probably once we get back from this one, how we're looking. And I'm thinking that's probably going to be the end. We'll have a look at the tax, and then we'll close things out for today. But next time around, I'm pretty sure that what the main goal is going to be is to set up a mining base. But yeah, for now, head up, get the shortcut up there. Next time, flying mount and mining base most likely. And this guy too, pretty aggressive, burly body, ferocious, positive thinker. And this guy has actually the best kind of animation when it comes to mining. I think I have to show you. But he basically looks like a minimum effort disgruntled employee. And let's see it, one more. There we go. But yeah, we're ready to head home. Let's go and see if we can find that teleport pole. Or teleport location. Some more rush walls that we can mess with. But yeah, as you can see, there's a bunch of nodes here. You can set up a mining outpost here. But there's a little bit too many trees around, honestly. Which makes it a little bit bad. Because most monsters, particularly low level, or pals, that can actually mine, usually also can harvest trees. So they'll do a little bit of logging, a little bit of mining, even though you mainly want them to do mining. So, while you could, we are definitely not going to be setting up our base over here. There's just no point. We are going to be moving it to a little bit of a better location, but this is a very, very good location for the player to personally go and mine for the reasons that I said. There's a desolate church here. Might find something good inside. Apologies about the hiccups. They're very annoying. But we have some more lore. Pick that up. Day 8. Fast travel. And in here, we actually have something that I forgot about. The statue of power. Excuse me again. And also this chest. 3 Palspheres. We'll take that. The FG. Take that. But we can also enhance player stats. And the way that this works is that we offer the effigies to enhance our capture power to a maximum of 10. First level is just 1, we can enhance that easily. Then it's 4, and it's just going to keep on going up. But it can definitely make it a lot easier to capture monsters as the capture power goes up. But yeah, kind of annoying with these hiccups. Might need to just take a little bit of break until they subside. But I think we'll be fine. Let's head back, see what a little boy has done, and then we shall go ahead and well, get things sorted. They're actually up and running, which means that this should be morning right now. So this morning they fought, I believe. We were out all night. Hopefully we don't get caught. Excuse me. And then we put in the ore, get 45 new ones cooking, and that should be more than enough. Now keep in mind that even though it tells you to make a cooler box, in our case we're probably going to make the cooler box, and then we're just going to dismantle it after we complete the goal here. There's no real reason not to, honestly. And we'll also just go ahead and make some nails, because we're going to need them for a lot of things. So there's nothing that really stops us from making more than what is required. While our boys work, let's go ahead and pick up some of these spears again. And honestly, at this point, they're kind of producing more than what we know what to do with. We have 71. We haven't crafted one since we, well, got the Vixys. And that kind of shows. Excuse me again. Next up, the technology here. We have 3 new levels, 14, 15, and 16. We're going to go ahead and get the Mega Sphere, which is second tier of sphere. Costs ingots to craft, which makes them expensive, as well as Palladium fragments. Not something that we're going to mass produce in the short term, but once we actually get a mining base up and running, it's going to be very much a required thing. Spare workbench, nice as well. We are making the nails for that. The wall torch would be neat, but honestly not something we're struggling with right now. And also this one's kind of neat, because you can actually, there's actually 4 stars to any pal. And we can have a quick look at that here. So if we have a look at this, under the picture, you can see that there's 4 empty stars. By combining pals with each other, you can upgrade them to a higher level, which increases their attack and defense. And you need 4 for the first level, 16 for the second, 32, 64. You get the idea. We're going to need a lot of duplicates to do that. It's mostly an end game thing. So we're not going to be messing around with that in the short term at all. Now, that lip monk, we're going to take him off the crew for a second. Put in the sheep, because the sheep will most likely make the nails. And something else I wanted to build at the moment, and I think that was the crossbow, which we'll get to making. But at the moment, we are just going to allow things to kind of peter out like they are. We do need more storage, which should be an upgrade for not too far in the future. Let me just see here what we actually unlocked it before I forget. Okay, we actually completely skipped the other 2 upgrades. So, wheat plantation, pretty straightforward. It's an upgrade in terms of what we produce. We need sweet seeds. A mill turns the wheat into flour. The other things here, monitoring stands. Command your pals to work on various things inside a base. Would be neat. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and build. And fire arrow crossbow, kind of same as the bow. These fire arrows and flame organs are, again, not really worth it in my mind. The main crossbow will do the job just fine. Wooden defensive walls, basically palisades. We can build them if you want to. Can't unlock them for now, it's fine. Mega shield. These guys are, shields are actually kind of nice because they are a passive shield over your health bar. And it needs to fully deplete before you can take health damage. So it's something you should make early on. I've just been lazy and kind of greedy for my Paldeck fragments. But we should go ahead and just get a common shield going for the time being. We can also make a saddle for the rush roar. But yeah, I think we're going to be happy with just getting the Ectiodeer saddle up and running first. As well as maybe a metal chip, as with more storage. So yeah, that looks to be the main goal of what we want to do right now. For the time being, I'm just going to help my sheep boy here to, excuse me, get the nails done. Then we'll get that final thing we need, the spare workbench. The spare workbench has been built. It's right here. You can make megaspheres and Palspheres. And we're just going to go ahead with that base upgrade, which brings us to level 10. We need wheat, we need the mill, and we need a cooking pot. So we actually going to need to level up again to get that done. But what we're going to do here is, as you saw, we disassemble that fridge because we don't really need it. And instead, we're going to get some stone, get some more nails, and we're just going to go ahead and make that crossbow. Because that's going to make life a lot simpler. And honestly, finally, we're going to make that crossbow. That is going to be the final thing we do tonight. And we're going to be continuing some other time. But yeah, it's been a good run, I feel. It's been pretty fun. And I probably should sort these chests out in a way that makes a little bit more sense. But at the same time, it's been an incredibly good start, I feel. Very, very good. Can't really complain. And yeah, I think we are ready to continue, probably, next time around. Look how happy the Ectiodeer is. And also, while I'm at it, we also want to make that saddle. We need some fragments. We have the ingots. We might as well just get that done right now. Saddle and crossbow. Gonna be the end, I promise. This has been a very, very long session, but it's been incredibly fun. I am really enjoying this game, so I can't really complain when I'm having this much enjoyment out of it. Was that enough, or did we need more fragments? I don't even remember. Let's just double check. We needed some more, so let's go and get those 2 nodes as well. And that should keep us covered for a little while. But yeah, I'll get these 2. We'll get the saddle made. We'll get the crossbow made, and then we shall work from there. And somehow, I don't know how, we ended up with double damage right now. So that is kind of good. But yeah, let's get those 3 things made, and then we'll call it a night. So unfortunately, I did kind of end up lying about ending it here, because I kind of forgot about one important fact about making the saddle for the reindeer. Let's put it like that. And we have the saddle. We've also gone ahead and made the crossbow. We've also gone ahead and made a new set of armor, the pelt armor, which is going to benefit us. And we've also done a little bit of building around here, but we'll get into that in just a second. So the first things here is that we have a 2D now. We can actually ride it. We've also gone ahead and build this one. which is the motivational plateau. We can basically, well, tell them to work harder. It is going to deplete their hunger and sanity at a higher rate, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But at the same time, don't really want to do that. We also built the mill, which means that we need the wheat fields and also the cooking pot to progress. But the main reason that why we want a saddle for this guy is something I want to show you before we end for today. And I'm just going to show you very, very quickly. So we want to go somewhere. Let's say that we head back to, well, the Rain Syndicate trial entrance will probably do the trick. But honestly, anywhere on the map here would do the trick. So let's head here, the grassy hill, and we'll head to the small area. Because, well, it would be beneficial to head there. We can buy the seeds we need. But as you can see, we can kind of run over. We can run over pals to kind of hunt them down. We can also shoot them from kind of horseback. But as this guy levels up, just running over them is going to do quite a lot more damage. And we can use this dash to kind of speed things along here. Just be careful that you don't hit anything. And also that the horns do fit in between. You actually caught 10 cremas, so we're not interested in them. But as you can imagine, just having this guy for hunting pals and leveling you up even quicker is actually going to be kind of huge. And he might actually kill this Gumos. That was close. But you get the idea. He's powerful, he's quick, he can really help you efficiently deal with things. And it's kind of the same here. Another Gumos. Whack this one. Goes a lot quicker. You don't really use any resources. If you need to, you can also, again, just shoot from the rider position. So it's a very, very efficient way of leveling. And with this guy, we should probably be able to hit, I say level 20. Oh, I missed. Fairly quick. And I think level 20 is where we're going to end this for today. I think that would be a very kind of good ending point. But yeah, crossbow, deer, good combination. We're also hungry, so let's go ahead and feed ourselves the pangolin and maybe also the deer itself. So there we go. Apparently, I'm struggling with capturing pangolins here, and we've become a icicle while we are capturing them. But yeah, got one. We get this one. That should be all 10 we need. And we actually have something that we do want to capture here, the Nightwing. So this is perfect. We do want to get a flying mount. We can't really get the saddle yet, but we can at least start causing some trouble. Didn't really want to do that. And there we go. That's really all we need. And with that, we should have him captured. Most likely. We have 89 blue balls here. So, again, we're not really struggling for resource at the moment. We're still in a low-level area, though. As we get higher up, things are going to get more and more difficult. But we got a Nightwing. Our experience have jumped up to 520 per capture. And, again, we're just going to head towards the small settlement. I'm actually heading the wrong way to head to the small settlement because I'm silly. But yeah, head to a small settlement, we'll buy the seeds, and I think we'll just call it there. Maybe. I might just be having a little bit too much fun with this. We basically made it to the, well, small settlement here. There's a scorching egg. There's also a bit of a green hue over here, which I would assume is an effigy somewhere. Is it up here? I saw it on the way down. I'm not seeing it anymore. Am I blind? Oh, there it is. But yeah, again, effigies. Kind of want to find as many of them as possible. Like so. But in this small village, or small settlement, rather than a small village, we're going to find two interesting people. And keep in mind, you can actually capture these people in balls if you want to. But what we're looking for here is this guy, and he sells wheat seeds. So we're going to buy 3 of those. That's going to help us with our mission. We can, of course, find them from different pals. This is the most reliable way to pick that up. We can also get electric organs, flame organs, basically anything that we need as long as we have the money to buy it. So that is good, I would argue. And this guy over here is a bit of an interesting one. He's a pal merchant. From him, we can buy different pals, like Jolt Hogs, which we haven't seen yet. The Gobfins, which we also haven't seen yet. And this one's actually pretty good. Musclehead and Ferocious. So we might actually sell some of ours to buy him, but honestly, he's not super good or anything like that. If it was something that we'd really, really want to keep, I probably would have sold pals to afford him. But at the moment, no real need for that. What is this? You okay? Yeah, you're definitely knocked out, but by what? The guard, maybe? This is also one that we haven't actually seen before, but I think it's called a floopy. Which is just ironic considering its current state. But yeah. We had a little bit of a good run there with the deer. We are going to continue the leveling next time around. And next time around, we are going to try and make a saddle for our birdie. I do think we might already have what is needed to make a saddle for the birdie. Yeah, Nightwing saddle. So we can get an air mount as well. It's going to cost some fiber, some cloth, and some palladium fragment, which is all things that we do have. We can also get the cooking pot. We can get a heater, and we can actually turn Pangolin here, or Pentama, into a rocket. Basically, we put him in the rocket launcher and launch him at the enemy. And he makes a big, big boom. But yeah, heater, cooler, these are just for changing the temperature around them. Basically for making hatching eggs more efficient. We can also get stone structures, which means that we're probably going to start building our house next time around, which would be nice. And yeah, looks like we are on the good track here, but we are going to have to end it here. I've been dragging this out probably a little bit longer than I should have. Next time around, we'll make this owl for Nightwing. We'll have to look and see if we can find a probably faster bird, because we are going to be looking for a swift bird. Ideally swift and runner would be good. And we also got a little bit too excited, and I didn't pay attention to Exterior here, so he did get knocked out. That was just my fault. So we'll take this guy instead and bring him along. All of them share the same saddle, so it's no big worry. These three guys here, the Dire Wolf Howl Pack that we looked at earlier, did actually get him, but I didn't hit record, I hit the wrong button. I've just realized, so sorry about not showing that. We also picked up this guy, Spark it in the same battle. But yeah, I'd say this is good. Unfortunately, no positive perk there for Nightwing, but Nightwing should do the job as an air mount fairly well in the future. So yeah, that is the current situation. I do want to take the this guy off though, because it does keep on stealing a spot from Vixy. And let's just put, I think, Lift Monk back into the job here. Now, Chris here, you can actually dig up gold coins, but we're not interested in that at the moment. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this first part of Palworld. If you have enjoyed, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be, as I said, trying to make a full playthrough of these with kind of longer episodes. And as you can see from these guys, it is kind of bedtime. So yeah, we'll be trying to round the game. If you have any questions, tips or tricks, feel free to let us all know in the comments. And I hope to see you around next time. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.